There is currently a lawsuit going against Microsoft and Mojang right now about the game Minecraft, and it has got to be the most ridiculous, Karen-coded, crappy parents self-reporting themselves of a lawsuit that I have ever seen. And I'm going to go over it real quick. But to start with, I'm going to link the actual page that I'm getting this information from, which is the law firm that is handling the lawsuit. And I'm going to explain some of the stuff that's listed on this page, but it's kind of a lot of a read. So in order to stop this video from being excessively long, I'm just going to link it. If you want to read the whole thing yourself, I'm going to go over the key aspects. The basis of this lawsuit is about a bunch of parents, a bunch of crappy parents claiming that Minecraft has caused an addiction in their children, and that this addiction is leading to mental and physical health complications from their children that they are unable to deal with. The basis of this claim is that Minecraft contains game mechanics and game features that are seen in a lot of video games, and a lot of very popular video games, that create a feedback loop encouraging these children to play the game for longer and to be upset when they can't play the game. That's it. That's the basis of the lawsuit. And they are claiming that the team working on Minecraft, Mojang, Microsoft, have a responsibility to not make that the case, essentially. That they are responsible for their children's addiction to this game, and therefore responsible for the harm that has come to their children. One of the statements made by the law firm is, known for its distinctive blocky graphics, Minecraft lets players craft virtual worlds, mine for resources, and combat various challenges, creating an immersive experience that appeals to users of all ages, especially younger players. The game's highly engaging design includes rewarding achievements, exploration, and endless creative freedom, encouraging players to spend long hours in gameplay. However, these qualities have raised concerns amongst parents and mental health professionals who point out the potential for addiction and compulsive behavior, particularly in young audiences. Minecraft's feedback loop and continuous in-game rewards can make it difficult for players to disengage, sometimes leading to excessive gaming sessions that impact real-world activities. Due to these risks, several families have reported significant behavioral changes and mental health impacts associated with excessive Minecraft play. As a result, legal investigations are underway to explore whether Minecraft bears responsibility for failing to address or warn players of the addictive qualities embedded in the game's design. Maybe I'm on the outskirts here. Maybe this is going to be a hot take, but what that reads to me is a bunch of parents saying, I did not take the time to parent my children. I did not set healthy boundaries. I did not set limitations to them. I did not tell them what they are and are not allowed to do. I am not taking any effort to parent my child to keep them safe from things that I think are unhealthy. It is not my responsibility. It is a company's responsibility. And I'm going to say outright, right here, it is not a company's responsibility to parent your child. It is not the government's responsibility to parent your child. It is your responsibility to parent your child. There are plenty of times that something might be publicly available that you might not find healthy for your child, or might just be scientifically proven to not be healthy for your child. It is not the company's responsibility to limit your child from that, to stop your child from accessing that. This is not a situation where it is some illicit substance dealer that is hiding outside of a playground and whispering at your kids, hey man, hey, I got some Minecraft. You want some Minecraft? Yeah. No. For your kids to play this game, you have had to provide them with either the console, the tablets, the phone, or the computer for them to play the game on, and then you had to buy it for them. These young children don't have money. They don't have credit cards. They can't purchase this game for themselves. You have provided them with this substance, this thing that you are afraid of them using, or using too much, and then you have continued to provide them with access to this thing. Real quick, the overview of the case, it just goes over and basically says children are developing an unhealthy addiction to Minecraft because of the feedback loop that it creates. The fact that, there's an advancement system in Minecraft. When you do something, a little thing pops up and says, hey, good job, do this next thing. Basically like the trophy system in PlayStation games and whatever the achievement system is in Xbox. I don't remember anymore. But it claims that because of this, children are being addicted, and it goes even further and tries to make more assertions as to why the game design is creating addiction in children and why that's unhealthy for them. But again, I will consistently throughout this video, I'm going to break down all the different claims that it's making and my specific responses to them, but a large portion of it is also going to include parent your own damn children. One of the statements they're saying here is that plaintiffs argue that Microsoft failed to provide adequate warnings about the potential for addiction. It did not include sufficient parental controls to limit playtime. You know what the parental control to limit playtime is? Tell your kids to stop playing the game. Don't let them get on the PC or the console or anything like that. I'll share a little bit of a personal story here. Here's my little personal story when it came to game addiction and game problems. When I was a kid, when I was like 9 or 10 years old, I was a military brat. My father was in the United States Navy, and he spent a lot of my childhood deployed. And when he wasn't deployed, he was working really, really long hours. So when he got deployed to Iraq, we moved again. We moved from Maryland to Pennsylvania. And almost immediately after moving from Maryland to Pennsylvania, he got deployed. So he spent 9 months, 10 months, however long it was. He spent a long time in Iraq right after me and my brother and my family were moved to a completely new area, a completely new school district, didn't know anyone, didn't have any friends. We were isolated a little bit. We were lonely. We were scared. We were in a new area. And we started acting out a little bit. But our one solace, the one thing that helped us get by while we were still adjusting to the new area and adjusting to the fact that our father was gone and was not going to be back for a long time, and the pretty consistent fear that we might get told that he died, that he died in Iraq. He survived. My father's still alive to this day. He's dealing with prostate cancer right now, but I don't want to give the impression that he did. The one solace that we had was playing video games. We could come home from school. We can come home from feeling lonely, from being the weird new kids, from being bullied, and we can get on our PlayStation or on our computer and we could play video games. And it helped us deal with that a lot. It helped us deal with the emotions that we're deal with a little bit of the isolation, and deal with these feelings while we were still adjusting to being in a new area and being in a scary situation. But we started acting out. We started acting out because of the situation that we're in. And my mom and I love my mom, she had the idea of taking us to a child psychologist or a child therapist, child counselor, whatever he was. I don't know his I still remember stuff about him. He was shitty. And we had a meeting with him. We all sat down and we talked to him. My mom was in there and whatnot. And she brought up the fact that a lot of what we do with our free time was play video games. And this child psychologist, who didn't really listen to any of the things that we said about being scared about our dad being gone, being worried that our dad was gonna get hurt or die in Iraq or any of that, didn't listen to any of that. The moment he heard the word video games, he said, well, clearly these video games are causing your kids to act out and act inappropriately, and you need to take them away from them. You need to stop them from having them. And my mom listened. And you know what didn't improve? Our moods, our happiness, our sense of well-being, or the fact that we were acting out. It didn't improve at all. What helped were the video games. But you know what my parents were really easily able to do, or my mom by herself, my mom basically acting as a single parent was really easily able to do, was limit our access to video games. She unplugged the PlayStation, she put it in like a closet up high, and if we tried to get to it, we got in trouble. We got punished. It wasn't that hard. We were latchkey kids. My mom worked. We got home about an hour and a half before my mom, but we had enough respect and a little bit of fear, because you should respect and a little bit like kind of be worried about upsetting your parents, that when they said, no, you're not allowed to do this thing, we didn't do it because my parents took the time to parent us. So that's my little side story there about how easy it is to keep your kids from accessing these things you don't want them to have. The next segment of this little page that the law firm has is, what is Minecraft and how is it addictive? It goes into, here's the statement. The open world sandbox game allows users to shape their environment, create intricate structures, gather resources, and fight off enemies, fostering a deeply immersive experience that appeals to all ages, particularly younger audiences. What's designed encourages encourages creativity and exploration. Its design encourages creativity. This lawsuit is openly admitting that it encourages creativity, something that we should be encouraging in children. These same features contribute to its addictive nature, making it challenging for some players to limit their time in-game. You're right. Kids kind of inherently have addictive personalities. Kids inherently don't have that filter in their brain that says, hey, I shouldn't be doing this thing that I enjoy constantly. I should be focusing on more serious goals. I should be focusing on school. I should be focusing on learning. I should be focusing on my homework. I should be focused on socializing with my friends. Kids don't have that filter because their brains aren't developed yet. So it is the parents' responsibility to filter that for them. If you give a child unfettered access to candy, to really sugary sweets, to soda, and you don't take the steps necessary to limit their access to those things, what you're going to end up with is a bunch of morbidly obese children with teeth rotting out of their mouth. That's not the sugar industry's fault. That is not the snack industry's fault. That's not Kellogg's fault. That's not Hershey's fault. That's not any of these companies that make these sugary snacks' fault. That is your fault. As a parent, you allowed your children unhealthy levels of access, unfettered access to something that you recognize is unhealthy for them. Okay, so here are the 6 aspects of Minecraft that it is saying are causing this addiction in children and are things that Minecraft is evil for doing, and how dare they. Open-ended gameplay and creative freedom. One of Minecraft's most distinguishing features is its open-ended gameplay, which provides virtually limitless possibilities. Unlike games with defined goals or endpoints, Minecraft encourages players to set their objectives, explore at their pace, and continuously build upon their worlds. This freedom taps into creativity, often leading to prolonged play sessions as they expand their worlds, try new designs, and complete self-assigned tasks. What that kind of reads to me, it taps into children's creativity and helps develop their problem-solving capabilities and develop their task-driven mindsets. And to feed into that, there's an entire version of Minecraft that is educational. The education industry, whatever you call that, realized that there is a substantial benefit to these traits in Minecraft. This design aspect makes it challenging for players to set boundaries, as there's always a new project exploration or challenge awaiting them. You know what's really hard for all kids? Setting boundaries. Kids, that part of a child's brain is not developed. Children don't know how to set boundaries. Children are going to set whatever boundaries their parents set for them, and not just set for them, but enforce with them. That's the boundaries that children are going to respect, and that's how they're going to learn how to set healthy boundaries in the future, by their parents setting those boundaries for them and sitting them down and explaining, this is why you can't do this. You can't push Jimmy over and take his pail, because that's not fair, and that's going to make little Jimmy sad, and it's not a right or healthy thing to do. You can't eat sugar all day because your teeth are going to rot out of your mouth, and then no one's going to love you. Whatever you got to say to explain to your children these healthy boundaries. Your children don't set boundaries for themselves. Children are little tiny psychopaths. There's a Donald Glover joke that every child is just a little tiny psychopath, and they are going to do whatever that makes them feel happy. They're going to do whatever, triggers that dopamine response for them, whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be video games. It could be candy. It could be playing tag. It can be teasing people, because when they tease other people, it makes them feel a little bit better about themselves. It is your job as a parent to set those boundaries, not some company's job to set boundaries for your kids. Rewarding progression system. Minecraft employs a system of achievements, resource collection, and leveling that keeps players engaged by offering frequent rewards. By completing tasks, gathering valuable resources, or overcoming obstacles, players receive in-game rewards that boost their sense of accomplishment and motivation. This consistent feedback loop of rewards reinforces repetitive behaviors, leading players to continue playing for longer durations to achieve a new milestone or acquire better resources. That is every game. I'll say almost every game. I'm sure someone in the comments can tell me that there's a game that does not have a satisfying reward progression system of some sort. But the fundamental aspect of, one of the most fundamental aspects of a video game is some sort of progression and achievement, some sort of accomplishment that you can achieve, some goal, some quest to finish, that when you finish it, you get this sense of satisfaction of, I completed a challenge. I did something difficult. I feel better now. This is awesome. That is a fundamental aspect of video games. And now parents are saying, well, because it's making my kid want to play this game more, the company should be held responsible for that. No. There's a lot of things that have in life that have a rewarding progression system. That's just life. And every single video game does this. So what's going to happen next? Is Dark Souls going to have a lawsuit against them because there's a rewarding progression system in unlocking new gear? Or Helldivers lawsuit because as you level up, you unlock new gear, and that's super satisfying. World of Warcraft, any of these games, every single game has some sort of rewarding progression system, even if that progression system is just going to the next level. You achieve something, you accomplished a goal, you progressed. That's just part of gaming. Social interaction and multiplayer modes. Minecraft servers allow gamers to play online, collaborate with friends, and participate in community projects, adding a layer of social interactions and shared experiences. Engaging with other kids and working together on complex projects enhances player commitment to the game, increasing screen time and playing games for an extended period. Minecraft players often feel socially connected and accountable to those they play video games with. They are building social bonds. That was the first part of this. Building some sort of collaborate with friends and present computer products, adding a layer of social interactions and shared experiences. So one, there's a social aspect, which means they are getting to interact with other kids that are interested in the same thing they are interested in. And let me tell you, as a kid that was awkward and bullied because I moved around a lot and I had trouble, like I was lashing out a little bit because my father was in Iraq and I thought he was going to die and, all this different stuff. And I was scared and I did not know how to interact with other people as well, other kids my age that well. Being able to play video games and form those sorts of social interactions helped. Being able to bond with some of the friends I did make over our shared love of video games and video games that we could play together. Now, when I was a kid, at least at my youngest age of being a kid, there weren't really a lot of online games that I could play. But there were multiplayer games. I played a lot of Time Splitters. I'd have my friends over and we'd play Time Splitters once I eventually made friends. And we played Time Splitters. As I got a little bit older, this was when I was a young kid. As I got a little bit older, the thought of online gaming was a bigger thing. I started playing Warcraft Online. I made friends on Warcraft. Not even WoW, like Warcraft, the RTS. I made friends that I was in a guild and all this different stuff, or a clan, I think they called it back then. And there are people I could play with. So when I was having trouble making friends in the real world because just the way I was acting, I was being very immature. I was a child and I was lashing out and I was new and blah, blah, blah. I still had some level of social interaction. And then collaborate with friends and participate in community projects. It is building team building skills. It's saying, okay, little Johnny, you go harvest the stone because we're building a wall for our village. And Timmy, you start the farm because we need food because we're getting hungry. And you're responsible for building the walls in this. It is building team building skills. That is one of the complaints that they have. They have a complaint about it building team building skills because it makes you feel accountable to the people that you play those video games with. That's probably good. Feeling accountable to other people is a good thing. Feeling like I have this team of people that I have a responsibility to is a good thing. Because you will grow into an adult that understands the concept of teamwork and accountability. You won't be the person that shows up to your job at Taco Bell and spends the entire time in the bathroom on their phone because they're willing to let all their coworkers work extra hard because I just don't feel like doing it today. No, you're going to be the person that understands that everyone has a role, everyone has a job, and everyone needs to participate as part of the whole to succeed. And yes, the part of it becoming overly addiction, limit your kid's screen time. You can do that. You can limit your kid's screen time. Put a password on the fucking computer. Put some sort of whatever the child limitations on consoles are now. I don't even know necessarily what they are because I don't have a kid, so I don't have any of those child locks on my computer or on my PlayStation or my computer. I just have a password. But you know what the parental controls were when I was a kid? They would unplug the controllers and they would lock them in a safe or lock them in a closet up high. And that was all it took. It's so easy. It is so know to not let your kids do things that you think are bad for them. And my parents did this as working parents. So that excuse of, well, I'm working and I'm tired when I came home, doesn't really fly to me. My dad was really tired when he came home. My dad would sometimes work 12, 14, 16-hour days when he wasn't deployed and would still come home and find time to spend with us and to parent us. And if he was told that we messed up in school or we were being rude to our mom or anything like that, he took the time to punish us and set boundaries and explain to us why he was doing it and why it wasn't okay. And this was a man that was working 16 hours a day sometimes, very long hours in a very stressful situation. So the concept of, oh, I'm a full-time, I work full-time, I don't really have time to parent my kids, that's bullshit. You just don't want to put in the time, which means you probably shouldn't have had kids. Personalized goals and endless exploration. Minecraft's randomly generated worlds are full of diverse environments, hidden treasures, and challenges, fueling players' sense of curiosity and desire to explore. Fueling curiosity and desire to explore. That's a good trait. That's a good trait. And you want to know one of the things that helped me get into the concept of engineering, because I really like engineering? It was solving things in Minecraft. I mean, it was before Minecraft, because Minecraft came out like I was 11 or 12 or whatever. But before Minecraft, I had that thing. But what helped me really kind of figure out some of it and start building the neural networks in my brain that had that problem-solving mentality on that better level is redstone science and Minecraft. The game encourages players to set personal goals such as building a new structure, discovering a rare resource, or surviving a particular challenge. Setting personal goals and then actualizing those goals, taking the steps necessary to accomplish those goals. That is a great thing to teach kids. Good job, Minecraft. These personalized goals create a continuous cycle of motivation as players try to achieve their next objective, leading to extended play sessions. If you don't want them to have extended play sessions, kick them off the fucking computer. The game can be played in either creative or survival mode. Creative mode players have an unlimited resource. I'm not going to explain this. This mode removes challenges such as health or hunger, allowing players to focus purely on construction design, creativity without limitations. Oh my god, kids being creative. How dare they? Legos existed. That was a lot of creativity. But if I spent all day playing Legos as a kid and didn't do my homework and didn't participate in society in any real way, my parents would have taken the fucking Legos away. This is making me mad. This is making me legitimately mad how much lack of accountability this lawsuit is taking. In survival mode, players must gather resources, class, and craft tools, and fend off enemies to survive. This mode introduces challenges like managing health, hunger, and hostile creatures. Managing resources. Resource management. Another very useful skill for kids to learn. Survival mode adds levels of difficulty and urgency, which makes the gameplay more goal-oriented and immersive. Teaching kids a goal-oriented way of doing something. Awesome. Good job, Minecraft. Psychological triggers and feedback loops. Minecraft's gameplay design relies on various psychological triggers such as reward systems and progress tracking, which can make players feel compelled to keep playing. As players achieve small victories or acquire rare items, they experience a sense of gratification, reinforcing their engagement. This feedback loop of small achievements and immediate rewards taps into players' psychological responses, making it difficult to disengage from the game. You're right, kids are inherently have addictive personalities. It is your job as a parent to regulate that. It is not the game's job to regulate that. Lack of a defined stopping point. Unlike many games with set levels or clear endings, Minecraft's open-end design offers no natural stopping points, encourages players to continue playing indefinitely. This absence of defined endpoints allows players to lose track of time, often resulting in excessive gameplay. For younger audiences who may struggle with self-regulation, the lack of boundaries makes it particularly challenging to stop playing. This aspect of Minecraft may make it one of the most addictive games. One, it's not the most addictive game, screw you. Two, you're right, there's no defined stopping point. It's open world. It allows creativity, it allows people to have some level of continuity in the thing that they're doing, and can make people not want to stop playing. It's your job. It's your job. If your child decided that their favorite thing in the world was to just bash their head against a wall because for some reason they found the lightheaded feeling a little bit exciting and they really enjoyed the sound it made when it thud against the drywall and they were putting holes in your drywall, would you sue the guy that hung the drywall or the company that manufactured the drywall or any of those people for the fact that your kid won't stop bashing their head against the drywall because they enjoy it? No, you wouldn't. And if you would, go to jail. You deserve to be in jail for stupidity, if nothing else. No, you would say, huh, honey, little Tim, Bob, Jimmy, Joanne, whatever their name is, you're not allowed to bash your head against the drywall anymore. And I'm going to explain to you why that's a really bad idea. But no, these parents are saying, no. My kids got addicted to a game that I bought for them, bought the console for, and then continuously allowing them to play. And they get really upset when they get told they're not allowed to do that. That's the game's fault. Kids get upset if you tell them they're not allowed to do anything, especially if you're one of these shitty parents that has never told your kid no. If you're someone that has never taught your child the word no and to respect the word no, one, you're raising little psychopaths, and two, that is your fault. That is your fault. You are a bad parent. Okay, health effects of video game addiction. Playing video games like Minecraft, it basically says it leads to a cycle dependency, withdrawal symptoms when they're not allowed to do it. It can cause them to be angry and lash out if something goes wrong for them in a video game, and can interfere with sleep patterns, impact their focus on schoolwork or their interest in real life things. Again, set those limitations for your children so that that doesn't become a problem. I played a lot of video games growing up, but you know what my parents did? Even when they were working long hours, they took the time that they could to find things for us to do together in the real world, be it go to the park, be it like try to get me into sports, be it just go out and walk and shop. And they didn't ask me if I wanted to. They didn't say, hey, do you want to go to the park or do you want to stay home playing video games? Because a lot of times the answer might have been, I want to stay home playing video games. They said, Zach, guess what? We're going to go do this thing. Turn off the computer. Dad, I don't want to. I don't care. We're going. I didn't have a say in that. But you know what? It helped stop me from being as addicted to video games. It's healthy boundaries, and it had me doing other things and interacting with the real world. They put in the effort. These parents don't want to. Mental health effects of video games. Okay. Here's the list of mental health effects of video games. Increased anxiety and stress. Continuous gameplay can heighten stress levels, with players feeling anxious when they can't play or when they face in-game challenges. People are going to feel stressed when they face challenges in the world anyways. This is a perfect opportunity for you to teach them coping mechanisms. For you to teach them coping mechanisms in a low-stakes environment. Your child lashes out at a video game because they're mad, they're angry at something didn't go well for them. Great. Now you get to sit them down and talk to them about why they lashed out, why they need to learn how to control this, why they need to process these feelings better. That way, when real life comes and hits them over the head, they will have those coping mechanisms. This is providing you a great opportunity to raise a better child, but you're mad about it. Depression and mood swings. Over time, reliance on gaming for happiness may reduce satisfaction with real-life activities, potentially leading to depression. Don't make them solely relying on it. Provide other opportunities for them to do things that they might like, and enforce them doing those things, like my parents did. My parents oftentimes would be like, hey, we're going to go do this thing. And you know what? Yeah, at first I would be like really annoyed that I didn't get to play my video game and that they weren't giving me any say in what I was doing. But you know what ultimately ended up happening? I enjoyed those things, and I developed other interests outside of video games. And while I still really liked video games, I found other things and I wasn't reliant on video games. Social isolation. Spending excessive time in a virtual world can limit social interactions and lead to feelings of loneliness or isolation from family and friends. They just said earlier that this is a great tool for them to develop social interactions, for them to develop social relationships with other players online. So one, kind of contradicting yourself, and two, don't let your kids do it all day. Encourage them, actively encourage them, and kind of put them in situations where they will make other friends. Sign them up for classes like activities or something, or after school activities that are free if you can't afford to do the ones that are like at the YMCA or whatever. Sign them up for things where they're going to make other friends. And you know what? Yeah, they still might spend a lot of time online, but they'll probably spend a lot of time online with those friends, with the people that they enjoy playing these games with. Decreased motivation. Gaming addiction may result in a loss of motivations or activities outside of gaming, including school, hobbies, or social gatherings. I feel like that's not this. I feel like that is you not enforcing your kids doing other things so they don't have anything else. You have allowed your kids to fall into a situation where they don't have anything else that they can rely on because you're not encouraging them or facilitating them engaging in other social activities. You're not providing them these opportunities. They don't know. They're kids. They don't know what else is out there. They only know what you give them access to. So you're not giving them access to the other things to develop other interests. Because yeah, I was a super nerdy kid. I was a super geeky kid. But you know what? I got signed up for baseball. I got signed up for soccer. I got signed up for wrestling. And while I didn't end up liking a lot of those things, eventually I did find stuff that I liked. I liked theater. I enjoyed theater. I liked doing track and field. I was a thrower. I threw javelin and discus in track and field. I wasn't really good at discus, but I threw it and I enjoyed it, and I made social interactions, and my parents encouraged me to interact with other kids. And yeah, okay, what we wanted to do was play video games. Okay, cool, Zach. Invite your friends over and play games with them at the house so that I was interacting with them socially in person. That was a thing they did. They facilitated that. They provided opportunities for me to pursue things that I was interested in and enjoyed, but still interact with other people my own age. Low self-esteem. Young players may experience feelings of inadequacy, especially if they struggle to meet gaming goals or compete with peers online. You know what? Another perfect opportunity opportunity for you to teach them coping mechanisms, to teach them that it is not important to be the best, and that you just need to put effort in to get better at these things if they're important to you. And if they're not that important for you, then accept the fact that you're not going to be the best at that thing. That's a very, very important skill to teach children, because if you don't, all you're going to teach them is to crash out every time they fail at something. And you're going to get a bunch of little tiny psychopaths that whine and moan the moment they don't get a promotion that they want, or they don't get the job that they want. And rather than actually try and put in the effort to do better, they're gonna crash out, and they're gonna live in your basement for the rest of your life, their life. And you know what? You deserve that. You deserve to have your child living in your basement for the rest of your life if you're not willing to fucking parent them. Increased irritability and aggression. Frustration in gaming can spill over to real life, cause short tempers and aggressive behaviors, especially when gaming is limited. It's a great time for you to teach them some coping skills. I said that already. I'll say it again. Teach them coping skills. Teach them that behavior is not acceptable. That is on you. That is not on the game developers. Impaired focus and concentration. Long gaming sessions can lead to difficulty focusing on other tasks, impacting performance in school and daily activities. You know, one of the things that my parents did when it came to, trying to make sure I stayed motivated for other tasks, even though like I was playing a lot of video games and stuff, was if I did not do well in school, if I did not do well in my chores, if I did not do the things that I was supposed to be doing, I wasn't allowed to play video games. So my parents always had the policy, and it was the thing my dad always said, is everyone in this house has a job. His job was to serve in the military, provide for his family, and make sure that we were safe. My mom's job was to work, provide for the family, and make sure that we were taken care of. Me and my brother's job was to succeed in school so that we would be successful, functional adults. And the dog's job was to protect the house long enough for my dad to grab his gun so he could protect the house even better. That was the job. Everyone in the house had a job, and if we didn't do our job, we were punished. And one of the ways that we were punished if we didn't succeed in school, if he found that we weren't trying hard enough in school, if we were slacking off on our homework, if he went to a parent-teacher conference and the teacher said, hey, I don't think your son's applying himself, we lost video game privileges. So, there was a punishment for not doing what I was supposed to do, and that punishment was video games, so I became more task-oriented to make sure I succeeded, because at the very least then I got to do the things I wanted to do. Difficulty coping with real-world challenges. Heavy gaming use may limit exposure to real-world problem-solving, making it harder for players to deal with everyday stressors effectively. Again, limit your child's game time, put them in actual situations. That's on you. Physical health effects. Gamer's thumb. These ones kind of get goofy to me almost. A repetitive stress injury caused by overuse of the thumb during gaming, leading to pain and reduced mobility. Don't let your kids play games all day if you don't want them to get that. You know what? You know what you probably want your kids to do, if you're one of the people that thinks Minecraft should be sued, is you probably want your kids to play sports. What do you think is going to cause more physical injuries for your child? Spending all day sprinting for soccer, doing laps for soccer, and putting all these injuries on your ankles and your knees, getting tackled 1,000 times playing football and having repeated traumatic brain injuries, or a little bit of problem with your thumb sometimes because you play a lot of video games. And you know what? You can regulate that by not letting them play video games long enough that causes them physical injury. You are directly saying that you are allowing your kid to do something you think is unhealthy for so long it is causing them physical injury. Seizures. This is the only one that I'll agree with. Game companies have a responsibility towards, sort of. Certain video games can trigger seizures in individuals with epilepsy, especially those involving flashing lights and rapid visual stimuli. If you are a parent and you have a child with a chronic disease like epilepsy that you know there can be triggers for, one, you have a responsibility to make sure that the things you are buying for them do not trigger those seizures. But I will agree that video game companies and people that make movies and stuff like that should have some sort of clear epilepsy warning if they know the thing that they are doing, that they are creating, has triggers for epilepsy. I'll agree with that. The same thing as, they have to put warnings on cigarette packages and stuff like that. I'll agree with that at the very least, but also you have a responsibility as a parent to keep your kids safe. Computer vision syndrome, eye strain discomfort from extended screen time, often leading to blurred vision and headaches. Don't let them do it, and they won't get that. Carpal tunnel syndrome, a condition caused by pressure on the median nerve leading to pain, numbness, and tingling in the hands, common in gamers who use a mouse or controller for long periods of time. One, get them the mouse pads that have the little thing that helps stop that. Two, don't let them do it. That is not on them. Unalive attempts, excessive gaming can exacerbate underlying mental health conditions, potentially contributing to unalive ideations and vulnerable individuals. Don't let them do it. If you see your kids, spend enough time with your kids that you can tell that if something is going wrong or not. And if you see your kids starting to go down the pathway that means they might have mental health issues, get them the care that they need and teach them coping skills. And don't shame them for it either, because a lot of parents want to do that. And don't pull that crap of, I guess I'm just a horrible parent. Why are you so depressed? I guess I just treated you so bad. That's why you're depressed. No, if you do that, screw you. Orthopedic injuries, poor posture, and long hours seated while gaming can lead to back, neck, and shoulder pain, as well as other musculoskeletal issues. Don't let them do it, man. Stop blaming them. Stop blaming the companies for the fact that your kid's sitting down all day because you bought them a computer and you bought them a shitty chair to play that computer, those computer games in, and then you never told them to stop. That's not their fault. What to do if your child is suffering from problematic gaming habits? Set clear boundaries. Parent your kids. Encourage alternative activities. Parent your kids. Engage in open conversations. Parent your kids. Model balanced screen use. Parent your kids. Don't get mad that the computer game is making your kids addicted to video games when you also come home and sit down all day playing video games instead of parenting your kids. Seek professional support if needed. If your child has mental health issues, seek out a counselor for them. Easy day. Parent your kids. Utilize parental controls. Utilize the parental controls that are built into most systems nowadays, and utilize the ultimate parental control of telling your child no and not buying them things that you don't want them to have. Your child doesn't have money. Your child doesn't have a bank account. Your child doesn't have a credit card. Your child can't get these things themselves, and you can ultimately take these things from your child and parent them. And yeah, are they going to be mad at you? Are they going to be upset at you? Probably, but that's part of being a parent. I was mad at my dad a lot when I was a kid, but you know what? Now as an adult, I'm glad for all the crap that he did, because it helped me become a more functional adult. It helped me become someone that was able to function as an adult, to serve in the military, to actually contribute to society in a way. And I know a lot of people who, you're a YouTuber, and I was like, yeah, that's still though, fuck you. And the evidence and legal claims may include medical records, gaming activity logs, financial records, behavioral testimonies, expert testimony. The damages can include medical expenses. The damage from this lawsuit can include medical expenses, emotional distress payments, because you can sue for emotional distress, financial losses, money spent on in-game purchases that contributed to the addictive behavior. You bought these things for your kids, or you allowed them to buy them. You made that choice. You can't go and buy a video game for your child and then sue them because, well, I didn't expect I'd spend money on it. Loss of quality of life. The loss of quality of life is a crappy way that you parented them. They were never, if that's who you are as a parent, they were never going to have a good quality of life. That's on you. Impact on education or work. Compensation for academic or career setbacks caused by excessive gaming, such as failing grades or job loss. That is not their fault. You let them do this. That is on you. You know what the sixth potential damage I think there should be? For every single parent that presents all of this evidence of medical records, excessive gaming activity logs, financial records, behavioral testimony saying their kids acting bad, and the expert testimony that says, yeah, you got a shitty kid now because of Minecraft. The judge should say, fine. If they're gonna say that you win this court case, the judge should say, fine. Here are all your medical expenses, and here's your first meeting with CPS, because you did not parent your child, and you are blaming everyone else for parenting your child. You are saying a company, a business, should be responsible for parenting your child, so we need to review whether or not you should have a kid. We need to review whether you want someone else to parent your child for you. Fine, someone else will. We will find someone to parent your child because you are so clearly incapable. You admitted it yourself with this lawsuit. I mean, I realize this is probably one of my angrier videos I've ever recorded, but my God, I'm so tired of seeing all these things. It's the same stuff with the parental restriction, the extra child protection restrictions that like the EU and the US are putting on the internet now. It's a bunch of parents saying, I don't want to parent my kid. It is someone else's responsibility. And that is pathetic. That is pathetic, and that is a sign of our failing society. And it makes me angry. It makes me legitimately very angry. But that's that. That's what I got so far. I'm going to keep track of this lawsuit. If there's more information comes out, if there's developments coming out, I will release updates about this lawsuit. So if you're interested in that, like and subscribe. There's also another Minecraft lawsuit that is coming out, or that has been out for a while. That's about it's about consumer rights. It's about the potentially unlawful migration of Mojang accounts to Microsoft accounts, and people are upset about that. I don't know how I feel about that one yet. I'm not going to talk about that yet because I'm waiting to get a first-party source, and pretty much everything I've seen, every source I found on it is a YouTube video, which I want to see court documents, or I want to see something from a law firm, or I want to see something at least a little bit more substantial that's not some YouTuber commenting on it, because then I'm just repeating what someone else said, and that someone else might be wrong. I don't have the first-hand evidence. But if I find that, I'll put a video out on that. But yeah, like and subscribe if you want to see more. Every bit of engagement helps the video do better. If you're interested in helping the channel, membership stuff is actually down there. My editor corrected me recently on stream. It's down there. That looked bad. And the big thing with the membership stuff is the 100% of the funding from memberships is going to go to my editor until it reaches the point that I can afford to pay him full time, which means I'll be able to put out more content more frequently and better research content and just a lot more stuff and work on more projects. And finally, I do stream every day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, 2 to 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. I use live commentary mode on YouTube, so if you are interested in commenting, make a comment under the pinned post on this video that says, I watch stream, or something like that that indicates that you want to watch the stream, and I'll approve you as a live commenter. Okay, bye.